everybody, and welcome to the channel Crossing the Spiritual Streams. My name is Tandra, and today we have a tarot pick-a-pile card reading on your past life. This might pertain to what you were or what particular situations or karmas you might have pulled forward into this life, and that might be something that is affecting you or that you might want to work out in this life. So it could be either or both. And we have 5 different piles to choose from, and you're to go on your gut instinct and just what pile draws you the most, which one you feel like you need to go and watch, and you are welcome to watch more than one pile if you feel the need to do so. We have pile 1 here, which has kind of a rainbowy color black stone on it. We have pile 2, which has the blue stone. We have pile 3, which has the pink clearish stone. We have pile 4, which has the orangish peach stone. And we have pile 5, which has the golden yellow stone. We will be giving you a few moments here to look onto the piles and feel which ones you're drawn to, and the timestamps will be in the description for which pile to go to. And if you like the reading, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Share with your friends. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of any future readings that we might do. If you'd like to donate to the channel, there will be a link in the description to PayPal. And we're just going to give you a moment here, and we'll see you at your reading. Hello, Pile 1, and welcome to your reading. Let's see what we have to say about your past lives. Alrighty, we have the 8 of Swords, the Magician, the 7 of Cups. Okay, seeing some stuff already. The Moon, oh yeah, for sure. The 2 of Wands, the 7 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the 9 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, oh yeah, for sure, and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, I got a couple different things going on in my head here, but for one thing that popped out for sure more than anything else was things like the Magician card and the Moon card. I feel like you guys might have been shamans or dealt with the occult arts in some way, shape, or form. You might have had some healing energies. People might have come to you for healing. But I very much feel like you dealt with some of the mysteries and some other things that people didn't know about. You might have dealt with alchemy or other things. But these cards here, the Moon and the 7 of Pentacles, uh, very much make me feel like you were maybe an herbalist. You dealt with medicines. You dealt with nature. You did things like that. The Magician card even might have dealt with that as well, because some of them do deal with potions and other things. So I feel like you probably did some of that in a past life. And also the 7 of Cups kind of leads me to that too, because he's sort of a magician image, and he's conjuring up all of these things into these cups. So I felt like you were greatly respected. People looked up to you, might have even been a little bit afraid of you. It might have even been possible that you were a witch in one of your incarnations, and the 8 of Swords kind of leads me to that maybe you might have been hung or had some sort of persecution based on on what you were doing, but I feel like in one of the lives it was something very good. You were respected. People came to you for potions and other things to help them out in their lives and that kind of thing. Um, so I'm thinking that that might have been something, but it's possible that for some of you, especially, that in one life or another, you may have been persecuted for your gifts and what was going on because they weren't understood. Also, I think in one of your lives, you were probably very, very, very creative. Once again, earth and nature kind of things. But that that life, I think, mostly was just one that you might have been a farmer. It led the very simple life. You worked hard, that kind of thing. I don't think there's much involved with that. As far as this life goes, I think you just learned in that life how to work hard and how to reap what you sow and how to work for the things that you need and be able to work with nature and get what you need out of it. Um, and you might have been very creative. But now we've got another thing going on here that I think might be something that is carried forward to now that you might need to deal with a little bit. Is I see the Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. I feel like in another life you went from rags to riches or riches to rags, or that you had some kind of power and money and other things, possibly, being a king, queen, one of those type of people in the past, but that you might have had trouble, you might have lost everything you had and been downtrodden at one point. And I think that's carrying forward in this life for several of you. I think you still feel downtrodden. You're having trouble working your way up through that energy. You still feel that. It's still very much with you, and that you are having trouble getting what you want in this world and getting up to the Queen of Pentacles status. It's even possible that some of you might have had that status and lost it because you were not very generous with poorer people or with other people. You might have taken all the riches for yourself and done everything for you, but then you didn't take care of your subjects very well. And so you're having trouble now in this life. It's something you're needing to work through where you can feel like it's okay to get what you want again. And it is okay to do that. You do have you carry forward a lot of knowledge and other things from past lives. And with the Magician and the Seven of Cups and all that, you can manifest the things that you want in this life, and you do deserve them. Even if you had some issues in a prior life with other things, you've suffered some, you've dealt with it, you've worked through it, and you deserve to go ahead and have a good life now. And so it's okay to release that and let that go. One way that might help you do that is do good works for other people. Donate money when you can. Donate your time if you can. Help other people out as much as possible, because the more you do that, the more you'll be able to reap for yourself and the better you'll be able to do for yourself. And I think that that's something that is would be good for you guys, because I think you have that strength and that energy that's carried through to manifest the things that you want, but you're holding yourself back from getting them because you don't feel worthy of it. And that is just not the case. You are very, very much worthy of everything you get. You kind of pick the rainbow colored black stone here, and rainbows to me just don't denote pretty much the richness of everything. It's all the light spectrum. It's beautiful. It shows up after a rainstorm. And so you guys, you've been persecuted in the past. You've had issues. You've dealt with some other stuff, but you've also had the lives where you just were simple and you worked hard and you got what you needed off the land, uh, and that kind of thing. And so deep down, you've had the experiences that you need to now go ahead and go through. And if you need money again or would like to have more money again in this life, it's okay. Just keep in mind that if you have that and you've worked for that and you've been able to achieve that, to make sure that you don't misuse it. And I think you've learned some lessons in the past, and so I think it might be harder for you to misuse it now because you have learned that lesson, and so it's okay to let go and let yourself do that now. And I think that that might be kind of where you want to head now in this life. I think you're ready for that. I think you're ready to get back up to this Queen of Pentacles status. Um, do do better with money and business and finances, and have a little bit more of the earthly riches that you would like to have, because I think you're ready for that again. But don't forget, you do have some magical spiritual energy and power within you, and use it for good and use it for yourself, because I think that that's something that could be very useful to you. Okay, I think that's all I have for pile one today. And please give the video a thumbs up, comment in the comments, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you in any future readings. Bye bye. Hello, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. Let's see what your past life has to, or what we have to say about your past lives. Okay, the Six of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, the Wheel, Seven of Wands, okay, Judgment, and the Four of Wands, the Star card, the Nine of Wands, and the Tower card. Okay, got a couple things going on here. With the Six of Swords and the Six of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles, and even the Seven of Wands, and probably even the Nine of Wands. So a lot of these here, I think they kind of denote that you were a hard worker, you did just general labor, had the simple life. You might have created, you might have worked in a lumber mill, or you were a fisherman, or you were in agriculture. Once again, you might have been a fisherman. Uh, this guy has some more money and stuff like that. So you might have even been a noble that owned some land. But I feel like it has something to do with the land and farming and that kind of thing, because we have quite a few pentacle cards. We also have quite a few wands, which kind of deal with your spirit and your creativity and your passions. But um, so you might have been creative in what you were doing. But I feel like for the most part, you guys were hard workers. You did a lot of good for the community. You worked hard at what you got, and you might have gotten some riches, and maybe not a lot of riches. You were maybe middle class. You had enough for yourself and to help give to others. So you were doing that kind of thing. But I also feel like some of you, once again, I still feel like the land was involved with a lot of this. So I think a lot of you might have been landowners or had worked on the land or done our stuff, because the wheel, it shows the different seasons, and that's always very important to people that work with crops and deal with the land and other things like that. So I still feel like that was a big thing. But you also have the Star card and the Four of Wands, and these are a little bit more creative energy cards, and you did have some other creative energy going on with some of these too. So I think maybe in another life you were a little bit more creative. So one life, at least one or two, I actually feel like probably more than one, you guys dealt with the land, and like I said, maybe even been nobles and might have even owned the land. But in a separate lifetime or times from that, I feel like some of you guys might have been a little bit more dealing with nature, getting out to nature more often, uh, going under the star. I think of like nighttime rituals and that kind of thing. So I think of like maybe I'm picturing Africa for some reason. Almost like a medicine man kind of person. Somebody that deals with nature a lot, especially at night and around fires and things like that. And I also kind of got that with the Tower card as well. Um, a lot of times this might, denote that there was a downfall or something like that. And I think that that might have been the case in some of these, like, because you also have the Judgment card. And so I think maybe in the case of the shaman, uh, medicine man type of lifetime, you might have kind of gotten a little too big for your britches, maybe, or a little too powerful, and you were judged upon, and everything kind of came crashing down on you. And so I'm thinking that maybe you're afraid of using that kind of ability again. Um, because it was such a harsh lifetime, and I think that's why you went to these lifetimes where you dealt with the land, where you dealt with either fishing or planting, or maybe both, but I really feel like planting is probably a big part of it, where you went back to the when you came back again, you went to the time of working in the simple life and working hard and doing what you need to do, rather than this more mystical energies and things. And I think some of you still have that ability and it's still there, but I think some of you are afraid of it because you've worked so hard in prior lifetimes. You feel like you have to keep working hard and you have to keep doing manual labor and that kind of thing. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that kind of labor. It's actually quite useful and quite good. But you guys had a lot of creativity flowing through you in the past, and I think that that could be something good for you now, to tap back into that and work with that in some way. It can be a hobby, it doesn't have to be your job or anything like that, but I feel like you need to tap into those creative energies, and pull in what you've learned from past lives or what you have abilities to do. Uh, I really feel like some of you have that kind of, you can commune with nature well. And that was another reason why you went to the land, because you could deal with it well. You can deal with nature. You can deal with, uh, you know, use your creativity for flower. I'm seeing things like flowers and gardening and landscaping and flower arranging and those kinds of things. Use your creativity for that if that's something you like at all, or something you like to do. Um, that kind of connects your past life stuff together. It's kind of things that's kind of all working together because you deal with nature very, very well. You have a lot of creativity in you, and you deal with things from the land very well. So, oh, sorry about that. My little one got upset about something. Okay, so there's all that going on in there, and I think you should use that creativity to help you feel better in this life, to help you. It's okay. You don't need to suppress it. Even if you go and work in a hard job, or something that requires a lot of manual labor, maybe you were told from the time you were real little, maybe you were an artist or drew or did other things creative wise, and maybe you're told, oh, that's not something you should do, that's not worthwhile or something, and you kind of just listen to that and you suppress that. But don't do that, because you have that creative energy within you and you should utilize it, even if it's not for your job or to make money with. Although, if some of you did that, I think that also could be a good thing for you. So, if that's something that you feel inclined to do, you probably should. But, utilize your natural instincts, utilize that ability, and I think it'll help you feel more fulfilled and get past some of the things that went on in your past lives. But I don't see anything super awful happening. I think just maybe you were judged by your peers and maybe they didn't like some of the things that you did, and you felt a little hurt by that, or a little bit um, unappreciated maybe, or like maybe you should give it up, or not continue to do that. Um, but I don't see it as a huge downfall. I don't see it as a big thing. I know the tower card could possibly denote that, and for maybe some of you, things did kind of come crashing down on you, and things didn't work out as well. But I think for the most part, you might have taken it harder at the time than maybe what it really was, and so now's the time to kind of let that go and go for it, because I'm thinking that that's probably what was going on. Okay, I think that's all I have for pile 2 today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave some comments and share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of any future videos. And I look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your reading. You all pick the pink colored stone. Let's find out what we have to say about your past lives. Oh, we have the Justice card, the Empress, the Tower, the Ten of Pentacles, the King of Chalices, ow, the Five of Pentacles, okay, the Devil card, okay, and we've got the Queen of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. Okay. I feel like you guys were royalty at some point in the past. Probably a queen, but also could be a king. Um, but royalty of some sort for some country somewhere. I'm even thinking possibly Middle Eastern time frame. But I'm thinking that you were kind of a harsh ruler. You were very hard on your subjects. You doled out justice kind of harshly, um, and kind of things like that. And I'm thinking that that might not have done so great for you. You had the devil card here. You might have even been seen as the devil or as, a bad influence that way. And then I think things did not work out very well for you. We have the Tower card, and look, it's kind of the king, being toppled over here. It's the crown. And then we've got this guy here underneath this mushroom, and he only has 5 pentacles left. He's got rained on and all, and I'm thinking that whatever happened, whatever was going on with your subjects or whatever, it all come crashing down on you, and things did not go well for you. You might have been more devilish ways, doing more things like that that were not really good for your subjects, and something that did not go so well. And we had this card here, the Ten of Pentacles, where it looked like you had pretty much everything, uh, even into your old age. A little bit, you got all the pentacles, you're celebrating, you got wine, you have everything, but I really feel like that kind of just all came to an end. Either uh, at the time people just did not want that kind of rulership anymore and wanted to be ruled some other way, and they got rid of you. You might have even been killed or just thrown out of your country. I kind of see more like you might have been thrown out and exiled, and you might have had to go into exile. We do have the Four and the Nine of Cups energies here, and I'm thinking that whatever went on here, you guys kind of maybe went more towards the spiritual path, more towards uh, dealing with spiritual matters. He's kind of sitting sort of like a Buddha here. He's also kind of almost doing the same thing. Cups deals with your emotions, your intuition, your subconscious, which I always kind of see as could be a more spiritual related kind of thing, because you could be pulling in your subconscious thoughts. So I'm thinking that okay, this didn't work out for you. You know, it all came tumbling down. You went to more humble things. It might even have been in a next life, even not even just in this life. Maybe you might have in the next life done uh, more humble things where you led a more spiritual life. You might have been more of a monk or a kind of person that disavowed worldly things and did not take things that were offered to you. Um, that kind of thing. Uh, you know, because like he's sitting here in this arena, he's got all these cups around him, but he's kind of here, you know, all alone. And then like this kind of reminds me of the story of the Buddha, you know, sitting underneath trees for hours on end and not eating, not drinking, not taking any sustenance and that kind of thing because he's, you know, trying to find, you know, true happiness and enlightenment because he saw all the suffering that went on in the world. And so I kind of see you going on that kind of journey, you trying to reach that kind of spiritual enlightenment because of what had happened in this life. Um, but I think you already went through that in another life. You already went through that spiritual journey. You worked on it probably in more than one life actually. So you had this life over here where you had everything. Justice was doled out. You had things come crashing down. You lost a lot of the stuff. You might have even been listening to bad influences or other things. And so then you went on and went the other direction, and you know, tried to be more impoverished and deal with that kind of thing. So I'm thinking you might still be trying to punish yourself for what happened in the past, because I really think that this, you know, monk type life, I think you lived in more than one life actually, and so I'm thinking you really felt like you were trying to punish yourself for what had went on before, and you didn't deserve to do any better than that, and that you felt like you just needed to renounce all power and goods and earthly things. And that might have been something you needed in those lives and something you needed to do in those lives, but I don't think you need to do that quite so harshly in this life. I don't think you need to renounce everything. I think you need to strike more of a balance between these two extremes. I don't think you're necessarily, you know, wanting or needing to get up to the highest positions of power and money and that kind of thing. I mean, we all kind of want, you know, some of that, and that's fine. But I don't think you really necessarily want or need to get up to the very highest pinnacle of that. I think you just want to be more moderate, you know, uh, have things, but not be impoverished like in the monk things. And also because you did live this kind of life, you've already have some spiritual truths in your wheelhouse. You already have some things there that you already know. You've already kind of learned some of that. Excuse me. You already learned some of that stuff, so you don't need to go quite that extreme now. Now you just kind of need to learn to live a temperate life. Now you just kind of need to learn to have things and, you know, do good things with that and feel good about those things, but not get too heady with power, not, you know, get too stingy with your riches, not you know, live it up on the high life and don't care about other people. Don't do those kinds of things like you may have done in the past. But also, you don't need to deny yourself everything and anything as well. So you've kind of learned those lessons in the past already. So now it's kind of a time to just, you know, maybe go more towards this Ten of Pentacle energy where you have things to celebrate, you have loved ones, you have the money that you need, but you're not overflowing, you're not going crazy, you know, into the king queen energies and, you know, and that kind of power. You're just kind of living the good life, decent, you know, having a good decent life and having the things that you need and you're comfortable and not being miserable underneath a tree kind of thing. So I'm thinking that's where you're at based on what's gone on in your past lives, kind of what karma you're carrying forward now and what you kind of need to release. You know, don't go to one extreme or the other too much. I think you kind of need more of the middle of the road balance. Alrighty, I think that's all we have for pile 3 today, and I look forward to seeing you again in future piles. Please give the video a thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified of future videos, and we'll see you then. Bye bye. Hello, Pile 4, and welcome to your reading. Let's see what we have to say about your past lives, what you might need to know. We have the Chariot, the Ace of Pentacles, the Death card. Put those two together, actually. The Six of Pentacles, the Hierophant, the Queen of Pentacles, okay, the Moon card, and the Queen of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. That's the Pentacles cards. And the Six of Swords. Okay. I feel like, at least in one incarnation here, one past life, I think you guys were soldiers, possibly in the Roman Empire. I think you went off to war, had a very hard time in war, actually, and you may not have actually come back. And if you did come back, you were greatly wounded and had lots of issues. But I think you went off and fought in some battles, and I really feel like Roman times. I'm picturing Roman times. So you might have been a soldier in a past life, and that might be something. Actually, if there's anything coming forward into this life that might be something that you're dealing with, it might be that, because you did have a really hard time during this war and saw some horrific things and some other stuff. And I think that's kind of almost given you a aversion to anything militaristic or anything dealing with war or the military, or you've been fascinated with the military, maybe even military history, but you've also been kind of wary and worried and kind of shy away from it quite a bit. It's something, even to the point of you may not even fight uh, for your own small battles in your life. You may not even fight for what you want. You might just go through and just say, yeah, whatever, because you don't like the idea of conflict and fighting and things. So that might be something for you to work on in this life, something for you to deal with where you're not feeling so much like, any kind of battle is just going to do you in entirely. Because sometimes we do need to fight for things. Sometimes we do need to go out and do some things. Hopefully not go to war. Hopefully not do those kinds of fights. But even just as small things in our lives, sometimes we have to kind of pull that forward. But I also kind of feel like we've got several Pentacle cards here. We have the Ace, the Four, the Six, and the Queen. I feel like in more than one past life, probably, but in at least one, you guys were landowners. You owned land, probably had serfs, probably had people under you. But you were actually in charge of the land. You may have been even so far as being a king or queen kind of person, but I see it more as maybe just a lord or somebody who had serfs or those kinds of relationships. You were a landowner and you collected rent. You had money coming in. You might have even been a little miserly with it at times. And then other times you were quite generous. So that's why I think it might have been possibly more than one lifetime. Um, and so because of that, you worked with the land, but not so much personally. I don't think you personally toiled the land so much as you owned it and had other people do that for you. We also have the Queen of Wands here and the Moon card and the Hierophant. And I think that these go back farther than these other lives did. I think these might go back to possibly Native American culture or South American Native culture. Uh, because I feel like you were in a tribe of people, very spiritual people. You were a spiritual person. You dealt with working with the land that way, where you were more in harmony with the land, not necessarily toiling it, but working more in harmony with the nature and land and how things worked. And you had creative energies and you used that for your people and that kind of thing. And actually, I think that was probably a really good lifetime for you. I'm thinking that you could draw on a lot. You had a lot of the knowledge that you could get from communing with nature. You had a lot of the spiritual knowledge. You had a lot of the ancient knowledge that was passed down to you from your ancestors. And I'm thinking you used that very well for your people. People looked up to you, kind of like the Hierophant card here. People came and asked you questions. You were a wise leader, or I don't think you were the ultimate leader, but I think you were somebody in the community that people trusted and that people felt like they could come to you for answers because you had those. And I'm thinking that that's something that could serve you well in this life as well, because I do think you are kind of a spiritual person and you can draw those spiritual energies in. And because this is a deeply, deeply rooted energy in you. This is something you pass down through your ancestors, not just your past life. And I think that that is something that could serve you very, very well in this life. I think it's something that if you pull those energies in, use your intuition, let your intuition guide you a lot, get information from the universe and that kind of thing, and use that to help guide yourself and others on what you should do next. I think that that would serve you very, very, very well because it's deeply rooted in you. Okay? I think that's probably all I have to say about pile 4 today. I think you were very interesting lives. I think you had a lot of cool stuff going on. Remember to fight for the things that you want. It doesn't have to be a huge battle, and it won't. You might not come back quite as injured as you did in the past. And remember to use your creativity and your intuition. And we will see you in future videos. Please give the video a thumbs up, share with your friends and family, and comment in the video. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of future videos, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye. Hello, Pile 5, and welcome to your reading. Let's see what we have to say about your past lives here. Okay, we have the High Priest, the Eight of Pentacles, the Four of Wands. Oh my goodness. Okay. The Princess of Wands, the Ten of Wands. Oh, very, very creative. Eight of Wands. Oh, yes, so much so. The Eight of Swords, the Six of Wands, Judgment, and the Four of Swords. Okay. I am thinking for sure you guys had a lot of spiritual, magical type of energies in a past life. You were very creative. Um, like, because, this is a witch's card where they're out, underneath celebrating the witches thing. I see her, look, she has kind of some witchy type things going on. She's making these pentacles here, and she's got, the skull in her book. You kind of almost get the idea it's a spell book. You've got the high priest. He deals with very magical energies in dealing with those kinds of things. You also have a lot of wands cards, which are also very creative energies, and fire type of energies. So I feel like in more than one past life, you guys use some magical spiritual abilities. You were either a witch or you dealt with things in nature. This card especially kind of is drawing me to that because they're out harvesting things. But I feel like you very much dealt with that kind of energy. You dealt with witchly type of things. You dealt with magic in a prior life, and I kind of feel like medieval times maybe. I kind of see that with this Eight of Wands and the Falconer. It kind of reminds me of medieval times a little bit more. So does this card, the Six of Wands. So I'm thinking it was probably during that time frame. It was not a really good time to be a witch, maybe. Um, or deal with those kind of magical energies. And you may have even done it in more than one lifetime. But I feel like you were a Merlin type person or another type of person where you kind of dealt in occult things. You kind of dealt with those kind of stuff. And it may not have worked out as nice for you because we do have the Eight of Swords here. And always, she's kind of tied up. She's got the swords around her. She's kind of in peril. And I feel like that may have happened. We also have the Four of Swords where, the person's laying in a coffin and the swords are, kind of over top of them. So I'm almost feeling like this may not have worked out so good for you, these magical things, and it was probably because of the time period that you were practicing these arts. But you probably have some magical ability in you. You probably can uh, do some magic. If you look online and do some other stuff, there's different courses on how to use magic and how to do different things with it. And I think as its ability you already have. So I think maybe it's something that you could work with in this time frame. It did not work out so good in past lives, so you might be a little worried about. I also kind of feel like the Judgment card might have shown that as well, because maybe religious people might have persecuted you at time, and you felt persecuted, and you probably were persecuted for your beliefs and what you were doing. And if you have any kind of ideas to do that again in this life, if you feel like you should do it, it might be a good time to do so, because even though you were judged and dealt with harshly in a prior life, dealing with these things, that doesn't mean you will be now, today, especially if you don't do harm with it, or don't do bad things with it, um, because that can be a little bit more accepted today. So that might be something you might explore and do with, because I think that that's been very hard for you. You probably still feel like anytime you do anything out of the ordinary, uh, or anything that's not normal, according to other people, I think you feel like you get judged, or like people are looking down on you, or being, treating you bad because of it. Um, and that's not good, because we all need to be who we are, and what's there for us. So if that is, follow your own path, follow your own heart, and what you need to do and what you want to do. And if it's something that feels right and good for you, then don't worry about what others might say, do, or judge you by, because that's not what's important. What's important is what you're going to do. And I think that might be some energy that you're pulling forward to now. Um, you also may have been part of the Crusades, or part of that type of thing in the medieval times, but I still feel like mostly you were persecuted in medieval times more so than you were going out fighting. I feel more like that was kind of the thing going on there. You're a very creative soul. You have a lot of creative energy in you, and a lot of magical energy. And sometimes people don't deal with that very well because they don't understand it. But that is definitely something I think you guys have had experience with, and could pull that energy into this life for yourself and do good with it now. So I think that that's something that this whole reading kind of alludes to, is that whole magical creative energy um, being pulled in, and that's something that you can use. Okay? I think that's probably all I have to say about Pile 5 today, but we will do readings in the future, and if you'd like to be notified of those, please hit the bell icon, subscribe to the channel, and give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you in future videos. Bye-bye.